Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Stage Door Show tonight. This is Dave Hondel. We have a talented artist out of my hometown of Minneapolis tonight. I checked out his music on Spotify. I really, really love his sound, and I encourage all of my listeners to check him out as well. Let's bring him in. His name is Jacob Shanninghouse, who goes by JWS. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. You know, Jacob, I've been looking forward to this. I've been checking out your music. You have just a great, great commercial voice. So how did you, I guess, when did you start singing, and when did you kind of discover that love of music? Because I know you're fairly young, but, when was that?
Yeah, so honestly, when I was 3 years old, I started getting into music.
Wow.
Yeah. My aunt, she was like the first person to buy me a CD, my first CD, and ever since then, I just really fell in love with music. And as I got older, I started to dabble in like writing my own stuff and um, performing in school and stuff like that. So yeah, I kind of stuck ever since then, I would say.
Like, I know, who are your inspirations? Because I know you have a few. So talk about who inspired you, I guess, to get into singing.
Yeah, so I mean, my favorite artist of all time is Avril Lavigne. She's very early 2000s, and her like second album came out around the time about around like when I was three, and that was actually my first album. So she was kind of the starting point of me getting into music, and I was a Disney Channel kid growing up, so Miley Cyrus, she's a really big one who she was a big starting point for like who I saw as a performer. And then like Demi Lovato, she's a huge, strong vocalist. I really love like strong, powerful vocalists, female artists. And so yeah, I would say those three are like my top influences for music.
And do you have vocal training? Because, I mean, you sound like you trained vocally.
They say I'm hard on myself, but it's way too hard to tell. They think they know me so well, they don't know I'm going crazy now, stuck in a world where I fight myself. Was so easy to pretend that I don't hang by a thread, and now I'm hurting my friends. They know that I'm going crazy now. If all I have in the end is myself, I'm getting better.
I don't know if you are or not. If you're not, you do a very good job. So how did you, learn, I guess, how to be technically a good singer?
Thank you. So yeah, I did do some vocal lessons growing up in school, middle school. There was like an opportunity to do like vocal lessons. Someone came in and started vocal lessons. So that was kind of like my first time doing that. And then in high school, I also was in choir. So a lot of like my choir experience really helped with my vocals. I don't know. I think I kind of just learned by myself also, like growing up and just like singing along to like the radio and songs and stuff like that. I kind of just kind of like taught myself how to sing, I guess. So yeah.
Well, and part of your music, and for those of our listeners that are going to check you out, I want to make sure that they really kind of hone in on some of your harmonies that you create. I think where you probably do a track or two extra and do different harmonies, and I think do you kind of attribute that to your choir background to know how to harmonize like that? Because it's very well done.
Yeah, I would say so. I kind of learn everything by ear, so just kind of like listening to other songs and artists and the way that they do harmonies. I learned a lot that way as well. Um, yeah, I don't really know. I guess it kind of just I'm one of the lucky ones that I can really learn by ear.
Everybody knows the story of the one that got away. But did you you ever think that you could be facing them one day? I saw you in the dimming lights, but couldn't dare to give a second glance. That's when you asked me to dance. So you come and shoot your shot in a way I never thought. Wearing your suit, met me at the bus stop, and that was the start, my first broken heart. You say that it's just too late, that you'll never find a way till you're somebody, someone who can share a life with you. Don't say that you ever loved me, just to throw me away if I never meant a thing. I'm so done with the love bombing. I'm so done with the love bombing. To have me wrapped inside your arms is such a privilege, hard for me to give. But you know how to dig beneath my skin. If you were gonna be the one to love and cherish till death do us part, there shouldn't be a way to break my heart. We started from a spark, you were making your mark. At the water park, we were kissing in the dark. What could have been more ended first about the door. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You say that it's just too late, that you'll never find a way till you're somebody, someone who can share a life with you. Don't say that you ever loved me, just to throw me away if I never meant a thing. I'm so done with the love bombing. I'm so done with the love bombing. You say I'm all that.
Choir definitely did help a lot as well. That's kind of like how I learned how to do different parts and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, the instrumentals as well. Like, do you write all your own music? Are you the one who writes it, does all the instrumentals and records it? I mean, what is your process like when you write a song, and how do you kind of, record it and put it out?
I started writing songs mainly with like hearing different melodies in my head, and then like just kind of like singing along and putting things to paper. I actually don't play any instruments, so I don't do like the instrumental side of things. I do work with a producer right now. His name is Michael, and he's super talented. He helped me with my entire EP, and I also worked with a producer who I found on YouTube. He creates his own beats and stuff like that. So I worked with him on the EP as well, and really put the lyrics and melodies to his tracks. And yeah, that's pretty much how I do my process. It's always kind of hard to explain it, but yeah, it really just all comes to my head at first, and then I use my like voice memo app on my phone to record it and
Yeah.
set tone or whatever.
Very smart. Very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of big musicians, do that. They they used to use a tape recorder back in the day, but now they use voice memo. And I think it's a great idea, because then you're not losing that, I guess, emotion of the song. You're not losing any parts that, because sometimes it's easy to forget. You have a lot of things going on in your head, and different songs and different melodies. And when you have something that sticks, you want to make sure that you get it recorded. So that's a great idea. Speaking of your EP, Box of Emotion was released recently on August 1st of 2025 here. And so, talk about that and the making of it, because you said you're working with producers, but how many songs are on the EP, and how can our listeners find it?
Yeah, so like you said, my EP came out August 1st. It is my first full project of music, and I have been working on it. I worked on it for like probably a few years. Like 2021 was when I started working on the first song, which is Letting Go. And there are 6 songs in total. And it's been a long process, actually, just because it takes a lot of work to really put out the songs. And I didn't meet my producer until around like 2024. And once I met him, we were really able to finally put everything, bring everything to life, basically. And yeah, it's all the songs are super personal to me. Most of the songs I write are always it's kind of like a story of something that happened in my life, or the way that I'm feeling, and that's kind of how Box of Emotion came to life. Um, and yeah, I really have been working on all of these songs for a good couple of years, and so I was finally able to release it this year, which was a huge accomplishment for me. And yeah, now it's out. It's out on all music platforms: Spotify, Apple Music. Uh, yeah, you can find me. It's JWS, all lowercase with a period at the end, and you should be able to find me on all music platforms.
One of the things that really got to me was how inspirational your songs were. And I think your music can help so many people. I think that listen to you, and so we want to make sure that we get your listens. We gain some listeners for you every month. So my listeners, make sure you go check out JWS, and actually on Spotify. They just search JWS, right?
Yes, yep, all lowercase
Okay.
JWS period, and
Yeah.
you should be able to find me. Yeah, Arrow One was kind of, so that's like a playlist I have,
Yeah.
and those are my first four songs that I did, which was like early 2019,
Right. It was a
and
while ago.
then
Yeah. But that's still amazing.
yeah,
I just got to say, Jacob, I mean, I really, really fell in love with your music and your sound and like your talented voice. I can't get over your voice, like literally can't get over your voice. You're very, very
thank you.
talented. And a lot of the songs are really, really well produced and really, well engineered. So it's good that you're working with a producer, and that's for somebody who's doing this. Take note of Jacob's music because it's like I said, it's really well produced. And so where do you go from here? Now that you have the EP out, are you working on the next one or?
Yeah, I do. I'm hoping to release a song at the end of, like, before this year is up. I do have a song that I'm working on. So I'm hoping to release that before 2026, and then in 2026 I do want to start releasing more singles. I definitely have been writing a lot of new material, so I don't really stop writing. It kind of like something will come to me, and then I immediately pull out my notes on my phone, and I'm like, okay, I got to write that down. So yeah, I am hoping. I mean, would love to release a full length album at some point. So that would be really cool to do in the future. But definitely a lot of singles are going to be coming in the near future for sure.
Do you feel that being in Minneapolis has helped write music and work with producers? Because music, is big in Minneapolis. It always has been. And when I was growing up there, when I started my music video career was in Minneapolis, and it's always been. I obviously Prince, The Time, Next, all these bands, didn't hurt, but it's always been a music city. So if you found that, living there has kind of helped you with the music world.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, definitely there is a lot of music environment here in Minneapolis, and I do like going to different shows. Like First Avenue is a big venue where they play a lot of music. I would say, yeah, I'm very grateful to have like been born here in a place or in a city that is very music heavy. Um, I think in the future though, I do want to branch out. Like my goal in life is to go to Los Angeles and just really focus on music there, just because it's the place where people make it big out there. So, but yeah, I do really love the music scene in Minneapolis for sure. And yeah, like you said, Prince. I mean, he is one of the biggest artists to come from Minneapolis. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, don't discount staying in Minneapolis, though. I mean, I know LA is great, but I know a lot of people who live in LA, and it's a saturated market for music,
Oh
and
yeah.
and it's something. Minneapolis is still a place. Nashville, everybody's going to Nashville, everybody's going to LA, everybody's going to New York. I mean, there's all these big cities that are obviously you know big in those industries, but sometimes putting your footprint in a city that's maybe not a huge market, but it's a huge music market. There's something to be said with that as well. So
Mhm.
don't I wouldn't rush to LA for your because
Oh yeah.
you have some major talent, and and sometimes you know making your talent, kind of like I said, putting your footprint in a Minneapolis kind of market, it might be really good for you, and might really help kind of further your career. There's a lot of great people in Minneapolis who I'm going to actually, after we record, I'm going to give you some names. People that I
Oh
still
yeah,
work
for
with in
sure.
Minneapolis that I think you should talk to. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I would
so
love to.
yeah, for sure. But again, just just keep doing what you're doing. And one of the things I wanted to get into real quick is, like I said, I was talking about earlier, the emotions and your songs, and there's obviously a story. There's maybe some background of maybe things that happened to you, and it just came through. I grew up and my dad was depressed, and he ended up committing suicide, and your songs kind of hit home for me a little bit, and that's why I really enjoyed listening to your music. Because I think when I said it's going to help somebody, I really do think it'll help somebody. So is that something you're comfortable sharing?
Definitely. I think for sure music is my way of healing. Because I did go through a lot of things, definitely in high school. And um, yeah, like you said, like music, one of the songs on the EP, Kissing a Man, is about my experience in high school. I went to a really Christian school where they
Yeah.
didn't, believe in um, certain things that I believe in. And
Right.
I eventually came to terms with coming out and being gay, and that was something they didn't support. So that song really is my story, and I really want people to be able to um, take away from that song that things can get better.
He's 14 and scared. He's entering the building with his new beginnings, and the walls are red and white. He wasn't prepared. He'd walk the halls with scriptures across in every picture, while the boy would cross his mind. They say they love you, but could never watch you walk down the aisle, comparing you to someone forced to be the subject at trial. Since sins are equal, it's the same, taking the life of a child. It's all in their Bible. You're in the chair and the preachers are there, but you can't listen 'cause the boy across the room caught your stare. They say you'll always be loved, but good luck getting to the ruler above. He went and ruined his plan because he's kissing a man.
Um, and yeah, I really loved to hear that my music can like help other people. I do go through a lot of depression and anxiety as well. That's kind of what my song Part of Myself is about.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's definitely a big inspiration for me. It's just like all of my personal struggles. Being able to make it into an art piece is really um powerful, and that's one of the biggest things I love about music, for sure.
Yeah, and when I do these shows, I'll check out people's music and I'll listen to it. Sometimes I don't listen to the entire song, admittedly, because of time or whatever. But I literally listen
Yeah.
to every song all the way through, and I can't say enough about the stories that you're telling. How I think it can help people, and like I said, it really hit home with me. A lot of your songs, and like I said, just keep being who you are, keep doing what you're doing. You're very talented. You're put on this earth to do good things, and you're doing good things. And again, you're somebody I think is going to have a massive future ahead of you in this business. And I've seen a lot of people. I've worked with a lot of people, and I believe that you're somebody that can really go a long way. So please don't stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
So what, I guess, is there one venue, I guess, what's that one place you really dream about playing and performing, and whether it's a festival or a venue of some kind? Is there something where you have that dream, I guess, someday of standing on that stage and performing?
Ooh, I mean, I would love to perform at any sort of like Minneapolis venue. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't really gotten to do a lot of performing live.
Sure.
Um, which is I did a lot of it in high school, but kind of getting into the real life of it all, it's been
Yeah.
kind of hard. But yeah, like would love. I mean, that'd be really cool to perform my First Avenue one day. That would be insane.
Yeah.
Um, and then ultimately, I mean, this is pretty big. Like, would love to perform at like the Grammys
There you
someday.
go. Absolutely. We're
Yeah,
going to put it out there in the universe right now. It's going to happen. So, Jacob, is
sweet
going to happen.
for
You're going to
sure.
perform at the Grammys.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, I mean, and then also, one of the questions I always ask, and this is something that I love hearing the answers on this, but when it's all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to leave behind, Jacob, when it's all said and done to your friends, family, fans, people that know you?
Yeah. I want to leave behind my stories for people to be able to go back and listen to them and relate to them and see something within themselves with my music. Um, I want all of my songs to really just I don't know speak to them and I love hearing that people relate to my music. So it's like one of the biggest things. I know when I released Letting Go, I got a lot of messages from different people about how they could really relate to the words because it's really big about anxiety and that sort of struggle. So I think anyone who's struggling with mental health, anyone who's struggling with their sexuality, anyone who may feel like they're different, I really want to leave that legacy that they're not alone and um there are people out there who are dealing with the same things and we can all just come together and yeah, really become the person that we want to be.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. Love to hear that. And Jacob, I just want to mention again, Box of Emotion, just came out in August. And so tell everybody again where they can find your music and then also follow you on social media before we leave here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. So you can stream my music on all music platforms. You should be able to find me anywhere music is. But Spotify, Apple Music, it's JWS, just those initials, all lowercase, and then a period at the end. And you should be able to find my music that way. I am on social media. My Instagram is JWS period underscore music. And I'm really that's like where I'm pretty
Yeah.
active with my
Yeah.
music. But then I also have my YouTube channel, where I also post like my lyric videos and stuff, which is just at JW Music. And yeah, you can find me on there. And I am on TikTok as well. I don't really use it a lot. I should because it's like one of the, it's like blowing up for everyone. And you can find me on TikTok at JWS underscore 0402.
All right, great. Well, Jacob, I really appreciate you being with us tonight and sharing your music and your story, and we can't wait for the next one to come out. And so I want my listeners to go check this out. It's really amazing, and again, just great stuff, Jacob. And thank you for joining us. And again, you're always welcome back. So thanks again.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.